Not everyone in this country has to play by the same set of rules, unfortunately. And we live in a world, specifically in this country and probably in most, where the farther you climb up the ladder or the more money you acquire, the more successful you become, the less rules you have to adhere to. And for some people that start way up here because they were born into it, they are never exposed to any of these rules. They don't have basic understanding of what is appropriate, what is not appropriate in the corporate world. And I'm talking about this jet from Qatar that Donald Trump may or may not be receiving, or however all that's going to work. Every time I hear a story about it, it's different. But the larger point is Donald Trump has never worked in a corporate job. He's never worked in a normal job in the corporate world. He's never been in a management or leadership position in a normal corporate job where he was working for someone else, and he had to adhere to the policies of that corporation. And anyone who's worked a job in management, leadership type positions understands that you don't take gifts. That's not a thing. It's inappropriate. It leads to potentially a lot of bad things, like favoritism, bribery. But people like Donald Trump have never been exposed to this thought process because he was born rich. He never had to go out and climb any ladder. So all the things we've been taught our whole life are antithetical to what Donald Trump's lived experience is. He has no concept of something looking inappropriate. One, because he has nothing to lose. Everyone else does. That's a big thing. So for someone like Donald Trump, who was born up here, which means he automatically doesn't have to follow all the rules everyone else does, because that's the way we as a society have built this country. When you ask Donald Trump about it, he would think that you're crazy for not taking a $400 million plane. Whereas a lot of people in this country can't even get a lunch bought for them by a client without the risk of losing their job. Like literally. And yesterday I said, I don't understand why it's so hard to just think and just say, you know what, that wouldn't look right, that would be inappropriate. No thanks. But now that I've had some time to think about it, he's never had to think like that. He's never been exposed to that type of environment where he has to think that way. And everyone can argue about the legality of it and whether it should or should not happen and all this stuff. I think the more important conversation, honestly, is the fact that this is simply another case of people who live in this country and go to work every single day have to play by a different set of rules than the wealthy. Yeah. Thanks.